Fired up footballers, James and Jeffrey here with another episode. What are we going to talk about here but us pushing the panic button and saying, screw it.
Yeah, bring
in Fernando Torres.
Yep.
We want Nando. Well, do we want Nando? We'll take him. This team needs all the quality it can get. And it's if we need to have a striker playing at right wing, I'd rather it be Nando Torres. If we need to have a striker playing cam, I'd rather it be Nando Torres.
Well, yeah, and it's funny. We've been very adamant that we don't want Fernando Torres. We've been like, no, Fernando Torres, we don't want another striker.
Because he creates more problems.
Yeah, we don't need 6, 7 strikers on this team. But after watching the last performance against the Houston Dynamo and every, match really prior to that, it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, you know what, we have no true system. There really just isn't much here, tactics-wise, X's and O's wise. So it's at the point where it's like, screw it, just bring in a quality player. Like we're at
Throw quality at it.
We're at the point where it's like maybe that is the best thing we can do for this season. Let's just throw a quality player. But you know what? That being said, does that really help going forward? I mean, maybe it helps this season for a season that might already be a wash. But, how many more years can you get out of Fernando Torres? But, for the sake of this episode, we'll keep it, the focus and the vision on this season. So, James, how do you think Fernando Torres could help the Chicago Fire this year?
I think he can help. It's just the club lacks so much quality in so many places. We don't lack quality at striker. In fact, we have a couple capable strikers where we don't lack quality. We lack quality at cam. We lack quality at wings. Mm-hmm. But Fernando Torres might be one of the faster guys on the team as soon as he comes on as soon as he arrives. Even though he's older, even though he's got those older legs, this team is sorely hurting for pace. Fernando Torres gives you a bit more pace, a lot more drive on that ball. You know that pop that you saw Miguel Almiron has on that ball? Guess what? Fernando Torres does have that ability, that confidence to drive forward with the ball, especially going at lesser talent in MLS. I think he's going to have that and have more confidence in his ability. I think he's a better dribbler. He's got some speed. He's not the most prolific passer. He doesn't get a lot of assists, but they were tending on him to be the finisher probably for most of those teams.
Campaigns, yeah.
We're going to have to really depend on him to be the facilitator, to be the playmaker for the Chicago Fire, and I think he can do it. He has the technical know-how. He's got the ability. He's got the height. He's got the length. He's got the know-how. He's got. People want to say world class. I'm sorry. Bastian Schweinsteiger is world class. Fernando Torres.
Yeah, like 2-3 world class years.
He had 2 good seasons, 2 great seasons.
Yeah.
But world class is when you have world class seasons, season out, and that is a Bastian Schweinsteiger. Yeah. That is not Fernando Torres, although he's in the hall of the very, very good.
Let me say this about Torres. Like you said, we don't have a cam, we don't have a winger, we have a striker. So I really, really hope that he doesn't come in and take away Nico's spot
and demand to strike.
So that doesn't make sense to me when you have the Golden Boot winner here. And so I don't think Fernando Torres is going to be replacing Nico unless he's going to be sold, but that's a whole nother conversation. So that takes out striker. Is he a winger? I don't think so.
By the way,
I'd rather have other players that we currently have playing the wing. And then, you can butt in. What do you want to say?
I was going to say, having Nico sold mid-season is a possibility. I've just learned that Tyler Adams from New York Red Bulls actually might be sold to the Red Bull Leipzig.
Leipzig, yes.
And that the deal it's already done, but it's not going to go through until the end of the MLS. No, until the end of the MLS season.
Okay.
They're going to get to hold on to Tyler Adams throughout the season, which is huge. Mm-hmm. To at least maintain on that player for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. So, as I was saying, so I think it pretty much takes out wing, even though he can play there.
He can play a right wing.
I think he totally can play there.
He's got the pace.
But I think what we need more importantly is center
better than
attacking
Collier.
mid. I think center attacking mid is the more pressing position of the need.
We need creation.
And I think we might have more serviceable players for that wing, even though they're really not that good. But I think we can get away with it more at the wing than, say, the cam spot. And so with Fernando Torres, now we're thinking about really fitting in a square peg in a round hole just because he's, like you said, he's not a true cam. And so when people think center attacking mid, they think about assists, right? And so there's many ways to acquire assists.
Secondary striker position too as well.
The majority, when people think number 10, they think vision. right? They think springing the ball.
And that's not Fernando Torres.
And that's really not what Torres is. But there's also a lot there are many more center attacking mid types. We're playing
Playmaker.
Sasha Kljestan, who we're playing this weekend, right? Head up. He just knows where everyone on the field is. He knows where the seams is. He looks for the runner, right? He looks for that third, second, first option, and he has that rolling through his brain, and he's ready to spring him. Wow.
And his touch is fantastic. He can do one-touch passes in tight spaces. He's so good in tight spaces, too. Torres is good in tight spaces.
Well, and now...
So that's something that the Fire are lacking.
And now, backtrack to when we watched Miguel Almiron. Not a true center attacking mid like we just talked about, like an Andres Iniesta, a Cesc Fabregas, a Sasha Kljestan, right? With that vision. How did Miguel Almiron create, James?
He could, just by we were saying, he could be really good with his touch, get that, and just create enough space between him and his defender to get off, or create enough space by a pass and then break away from his defender because he's got some pop to his pace. So, he's got some explosion.
So all what you're saying is Miguel Almiron would beat his guy, right? So when you beat a guy, someone has to come and defend you now. So there's odd man situations. So that's another way you can create with the center attacking mid. The thing that I think Fernando Torres, that can work. That Miguel Almiron-ish center attacking mid can work. But the thing that really makes me scratch my head is a team like Atlanta. They have so many attacking options that you can't key in on one player. And number two, they also get width. You can't. The field is so condensed with their own players, and then the defense trying to mark them. There's just no space in there. So I mean, even if you have a Fernando Torres, there's not going to be enough space in there because the Chicago Fire, they really shrink the field and make it so narrow. So if we do bring in a Fernando Torres and we want to make him work as a center attacking mid, we're going to have Katai touch that touchline. Or whoever, maybe it's a Campos. Campos, touch that touchline. Maybe it's not both of them, maybe it's just one of them. But one of those wingers has to get us width, has to touch that touchline, and we just need to spread out that, center of the pitch so Torres has some space to, run at players. Remember, he's not going to be, like I said, picking them apart with his vision. He's going to be more so running at players, causing havoc that way.
He's a much different striker than what Nico is.
Yes.
In that way, in that the qualities he brings you in that you could play him to his feet and he might even be able to dribble himself out of a place or hold on to the ball. He's a hold-up striker.
Sure.
He's a hold-up striker where Nico is not necessarily a hold-up striker. I do think that putting Torres in between Schweinsteiger and Nikolic is going to greatly improve Nikolic's service. Now, as we've said, Fernando Torres is not the ideal playmaking 10 cam passer with dribbling ability that you really want, who has vision, but he is a tall, speedy, technically astute, great between the ears, knows what he has to be, still a very good playmaker too, and a hold-up player, and he could do a lot more things than Collier couldn't.
Yeah.
And if we're going to play Collier at the cam, this guy's going to be so much better. And he's actually going to be effective, I think. Because putting that much quality between Nikolic and Bastian Schweinsteiger is really going to improve the service going both ways.
Yeah, and like we said at the beginning of this episode,
because the quality is lacking.
That might just be, at this point of the game, this point of the season, let's just put some more quality, add some more quality people on this team, and then hopefully the players can figure it out, because we don't think the coach really can figure it out. We don't think the general manager can really put these guys in the right spots to win.
I think the players can.
So hopefully they can just bring in some more quality pieces, and then we just have enough quality out there to, win. It's kind of like what we did last year. I mean, last year we didn't really have the tactics, the X's and O's.
We had more quality.
That won. We just had, we brought in Basti and we kind of rode that wave of really good players that are just on the field and doing a lot on the field. So, man, I mean, that is really one of the only ways I can see it working.
I'm going to be excited for it because it's going to be huge for this team. A boost, a morale boost, because this team is hitting the bottom right now. We're scraping the bottom, and we need something to help raise us up. On top of that, in order to get a player of Fernando Torres' magnitude, albeit his age is a factor, and he might not have so many years left in the tank. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a boon to add that type of quality to this side. Dak said at the beginning of the season, Nelson's reiterated it, Pano's reiterated it. This team lacks quality. What does that mean? That means a bona fide player who you could trust.
Well,
And Fernando, you can trust.
And we said for the sake of the episode, we'll keep it in terms of this year. But I mean, if you want to, fast forward a year or two down the road, I mean, how many more miles does Fernando Torres have on his leg? So I mean, is this just the ultimate Band-Aid? Is this the ultimate duct tape? Just holding this club together? I mean, this sounds like another classic Nelson move where, maybe he didn't want Fernando Torres. I mean, there was rumor, he was rumored to cancel. I don't know if he canceled the meeting, but there was a proposed rumor and it was off. And so I wonder if, he saw these last couple of performances and he's like, oh my gosh.
And he got worried about playing Bayern Munich in a friendly because they were going to be, with a team of this, this amount of floundering, they would be bamboozled out of the park. They have to play Bayern Munich without Bastian Schweinsteiger for a half.
Oh my God.
For a half. I don't see how they would stop Arjen Robben, Frank Ribery, Mueller, Lewandowski, Talisco.
Oh my gosh. They're going to score 20 goals.
Mats Hummels, Joshua Kimmich.
I mean, half that Bayern team was on that German team that beat Brazil. What would they beat Brazil? Like 6-1 or something?
Oh my gosh. I mean, what would they beat the Fire by? 20-1? What's the over-under for that? Because we got to bet the over.
Anyways, back to Fernando Torres. So, like we said, obviously it's not a perfect fit, but, to throw some quality at the problem, that's kind of where we are right now.
And right now, probably Nelson is grasping at straws as far as the amount of players that were willing to come here is dwindling with the results that they keep putting up.
What was this guy's plan?
And you're not. How can you recruit with that product on the field? You can't recruit with that. Yeah, you have Bastian Schweinsteiger on the field, but you have that product next to him. It's Bastian Schweinsteiger and 4 other guys playing on 11-on-11 game. Now we're going to have 6 because we have Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
And you know what? The more players you can add to get to 7 and get to 11, the better off we'll be.
Yeah. And maybe when we do get to 11, we probably still won't have a Cam. We probably still won't have a winger.
Well, 10 strikers.
But maybe we have 10 strikers out there.
8 defensive mids.
Speaking of that, I saw someone make a funny joke on Twitter, like, can Fernando Torres play center back or something like that?
Yes, he probably can.
Or is Pano going to play him at center back? Or I don't know. Anyways, you have any last final thoughts? I think I'm pretty much set.
We've been worn down to the point where this move, it's not that it makes sense. It's the move you almost have to make to do what you can to salvage this season.
It sucks. It's a reactive knee-jerk move.
It's a so reactive knee-jerk move. The funny thing is, as knee-jerk and reactive as it is, Nelson has been knocking on this door all season long. So maybe it's part of the plan.
Yeah.
But his plan is not good enough. And we've seen his plan be not good enough, illustrated by the end of the season. The results at the beginning of the season is evidence enough that it was not good enough. Sorry, Nelson. Do better.
And then I don't know how Pano's going to find a way to get this guy in there. Like, what is Pano's so weird with this lineup construction?
Yes.
How is he going to fit him in there? Is he going to keep
4-2-3-1 as a cam? 4-3-3?
And he's been trying Nico, it looks like at a wing.
Oh, no.
It's been ugly.
No, he can't dribble.
Ugly. Nico can't play wing. And I don't think Fernando Torres wants to play a wing role.
No, but if you're bringing him in here, guess what? You might be playing right wing or might be playing a cam. Fernando Torres, if you are coming in, just know that you probably won't be playing striker for this club. However,
there's 5 other ones.
However, you could do a lot for this club. Yes. You could do a lot for the city of Chicago and a lot for us fans because we're feeling it right now. All of us are feeling it, and we need some hope.
Yep. No.
Give us some.
Yeah, give us hope.
Come on, Nando.
He does.
All right, Chicago Fire. All right, fans, we'll see you guys later. Give us a like if you enjoyed the analysis. Toss us any comments or corrections or anything you guys want to add below. We're always interested in your comments, especially about this one with such a concept or something that's
How
just
would
so.
you guys fit Fernando Torres in? Is he a winger? Is he a cam? Is he a striker? Are we going to have to sell Nico? So
I'd fit him in as my cam.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts, please.
How would you fit him in?
I'm cam.
Cam. There it is for us. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.